is Jerick balansag, Block 14. My topic today is about COVID pandemic and lockdown. The Philippines currently ranks second behind Indonesia and Southeast Asia in terms of confirmed COVID-19 deaths, with more than 57,000 facilities based on information from the Philippines Department of Health or DOH. In terms of cumulative confirmed COVID-19 cases, the Philippines is behind Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia with a total under 4 million. Since late 2020, the Philippines had the second highest total vote was overtaken by Vietnam and Malaysia in March. There was an increase in cases observed in major Asian economies in recent weeks, except for the Philippines, which had an earlier Omicron usage. Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia, however, have been testing more aggressively. There was a call for mass testing since the early days of the pandemic in the Philippines, but it has never reached more than 100,000 tests in a day. It remains relatively expensive to test in the Philippines, and this has made testing demand-driven where the number of tests usually go up during a surge. Recently, testing is back to below 30,000 daily as cases decline. Without aggressive testing, the accuracy of the data on the actual number of COVID-19 cases and deaths will be less than optimal. COVID-19 cases are on decline, follow the fourth and most severe spike in the Philippines to date. The micro-variant forced daily cases up from just 168 on December 21 to 2,961 on December 31. Prior to that, there were three other spikes. There was the spike in August 2020 when the Philippines first relaxed its COVID-19 lockdown. The March to April 2021 spike driven by the Alpha variant first identified in the United Kingdom, and the August to September 2021 spike driven by the Delta variant first identified in India. Omicron first identified in South Africa was the worst by far in terms of infections. The rate of increase in cases caused by Omicron and unprecedented and ABS-CBN data. Analytic Chief Edson Gaido's tracking of Philippines COVID-19 data. The most COVID-19 cases confirmed in a day in the Philippines was also attributed to Omicron with a record high of 39,004. Hit on January 15, 2022, fortunately, that surge followed the track of most Omicron-related surge abroad, sharply declining after an equally abrupt surge. The Philippines is once again back to reporting cases in the hundreds daily. The sharp decline in cases has pulled down the Philippines positivity rate as well. It is now back below the World Health Organization benchmark of 5% in March. The Philippines was able to meet the benchmark for at least 2 weeks last December 2021. After more than a year of being unable to do so, there were during the time when the positivity rate would even drop below 1%. Omicron reversed the trend, pushing up the positivity rate to a peak of 48% on January 11, before falling back down to where it is today. Another big reason for the Philippines' recent success in fighting COVID and vaccination. The Philippines started its vaccines rollout on March 1, 2021, more than a year later. 64 million Filipinos are now fully vaccinated, equivalent to 57% of the country's total populations. This, however, is below the Philippines' original target for 2021 of 77 million Filipinos, covering 70% of the total populations. In terms of booster shots, 10.7 million Filipinos have received theirs, accounting for less than 10% of the Philippines population. There has also been a recorded slowdown in pace of the vaccines rollout in recent weeks. Thank you, everyone.